Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Horner. I'm responsible for Juniper's largest global alliance, which is with NEC Corporation out of Tokyo. I will be having a discussion with a joint Juniper NEC customer out of South Africa, and that is Herotel. Here with me today is Herotel CTO, Eldred Eckermans, and Herotel National Head of Core and Transmission, James Devine. I wanted to have a discussion about your recent deployment and also your mission. So Juniper and NEC Exxon and Herotel have partnered together to provide greater connectivity across South Africa. So Eldred, can you tell us what Herotel's mission is and your strategy that you're taking to achieve your goals?
Thank you, Robert. Thanks for the opportunity. Herotel's vision is everyone connected. So we feel that we'll keep on building fixed telecoms networks until all the people in South Africa that needs to be connected are connected. We believe in taking a differentiated approach. So we don't use one specific technology. We look at the situation of the customer, the environment that they are in, and we use the appropriate technology for them. So in high dense areas, we'll do FTTH, and in lower dense areas, we'll do fixed wireless. So we are currently expanding our presence across most of the towns in South Africa. Every town that's not serviced by a proper broadband, reliable internet, we will deploy our networks there. Obviously, depending on the town itself, it depends on the technology that we'll use. We currently connect 107,000 homes and business endpoints to the internet, and we are planning to add another 60,000 to that in the 2021 year.
Great. How did you come to choose NEC, Exxon, and Juniper specifically as your partners?
At the end of 2018, we realized that we have to go through a massive network upgrade, and we started kind of dreaming at what we think our next generation network should look like. And so any big decision like that, we always turn to our 3 strategic business anchors, and we try and find the best balance between those anchors. The first of those is excellent customer experience, and from a networking perspective, to give the customer the best experience you can, the only way to do that is to try and bring the latency down, so try and bring the content as close as possible to the customer. Our second strategic anchor is low-cost deployments. We have to be very creative in how we deploy our networks, especially in Africa. We don't want to spend $1 today that we're going to have to respend in 2 or 3 years' time because we were short-sighted. But what we also don't want to do is over-engineer our networks and spend a lot of money and never actually use those assets. So we believe in spending a lot of time in thinking and planning on our networks. And then the last strategic anchor is service availability. Our network simply always has to be up. We can't afford our networks to be down. So the result of that kind of thinking brought us to a network design that brings CDN caches or content distribution networks closer to the customers. We distribute those throughout South Africa, and then we peer as much as we can nationally. And then for any international content, we find an international provider to do that. So when we went to market, we had a bunch of suppliers and vendors that we spoke to, but NEC Exxon just basically understood our vision. They really snapped very quickly what we wanted to achieve. Most of the other vendors came with multiple technologies that they were mixing, whereas NEC Exxon provided us with Juniper for our routing and switching gear, and that basically just clinched the deal for us.
Great. Over the last year, the world has changed from physical to virtual, and this has put a great deal of responsibility on service providers. What kind of changes have you seen in your environment, like shifting traffic patterns, those kinds of things, due to the movement to virtual?
When we went into lockdown as a country, pretty much a day a year ago, we immediately saw a 30% jump in traffic on our networks. Fortunately, Our transmission and core networks handled that traffic pretty easily. We didn't have any issues there. Some of our access networks needed a bit of tweaking and a bit of upgrading, but we could attend to that pretty quickly. And what we saw is that a lot of people started working from home, but specifically video content really made the leap, in traffic. And the fact that we've got content distribution nodes throughout the country, that also made it much easier for us to handle that traffic. We don't have to pass the traffic over long distance links. We serve that locally. So I think our network design kind of proved itself very quickly when the pandemic hit us. The other interesting thing that we've seen is that people, initially it was like they all craved going online. So there was a real spike, but it's kind of stabilized. And we see that actually quite often. The moment we roll out a proper broadband network in an area, it's like they can't get enough of it. But then after 6 months to a year, it stabilizes and people's usage patterns kind of gets balanced. And so that massive increase, we haven't really seen that carry on. We've kind of seen a real stabilization in terms of what people use. So yeah, thanks. We're very grateful that we deployed our Juniper network when we did, and we could accommodate the peak traffic in lockdown.
Excellent. Great to hear, Eldred. Thanks so much. James, a couple questions for you. Herotel has the first commercial segment routing deployment across South Africa. How did you choose segment routing over traditional MPLS?
Well, that's a great question, Robert. So segment routing addresses several of the shortfalls of the traditional MPLS deployments that we've seen over the years. And one of those big ones is that they like to centralize in one or two locations. And that just didn't sit well with the African environment and the African layout. And so to overcome the shortfalls of the traditional MPLS and allow us to use our network bandwidth more efficiently, there was only one thing to turn towards, and that was segment routing. It doesn't limit us to a single topology design as traditional MPLS does. It supports both meshed and ring topologies, and most importantly, it scales well. We've seen tremendous growth in the last 9 months on the network. This has also allowed us to build a solid foundation for automation goals. And all of these three aspects support our three strategic anchors that we use when making any of our business or even technical decisions. And that is that low cost, but not cheap. Quality customer experience and availability, which equates to uptime. We're always up.
And why did you choose Juniper for segment routing?
So we compared several vendor platforms while we were looking at the SL deployment. And it basically came down to three simple facts. With the Juniper NEC XL solution, we had a single vendor with end-to-end, including all of our routing switching infrastructure, and eliminated all of the POSA inter-vendor operability problems and finger pointing. The second one was that the MX platform is simply a rock star. It's unparalleled at what you can do with this thing. I mean, the track record that we've had with it, that it's had in the industry, the bang for the buck that you get, and with a simple addition of a license, any of the MX204s deployed into our network can instantly become another decentralized BNG. And with each BNG, we have our decentralized content delivery nodes, caches. And the third, and probably one of the most important one, is that as SR-MPLS is so new to the continent, and especially to South Africa, with so few production networks in the world, it was imperative that we had an incredibly strong partner with the required skills that could assist us with qualified staff. And most importantly, that they had to be based and on the ground in South Africa. Because this is a pretty groundbreaking deployment for us. And we wanted a partner and not a consultant. So there was only one real choice, and that was NEC XL.
Great to hear. James, now that you have the first South African commercial segment routing deployment in operation, what impact have you seen on your network?
Sure. So we've seen a drop in latency and an increase in throughput. First of all, we cannot compare custom silicon to software-based routing platforms. The increase in performance has been phenomenal and groundbreaking. Segment routing also allows us to play a key role in avoiding the complexity of interconnecting existing city networks while allowing for the flexibility in the deployment of decentralized BNGs and CDN nodes inside of our network. I mean, this centralized, this SR network that we've deployed has allowed us to amalgamate 19 separate operational entities and networks in South Africa into a national SR network in less than a year. And all of this relates back to the most important metric on our network, and that is that the improvement in customer experience.
Great to hear. So what's next for Herotel?
Well, that's a big question. As our SR rings are being completed and they're being rolled out, the additional rings are being rolled out now. We've just begun migrating our customers to our distributed BNG and CDN nodes around the country. Already seeing incredible performance increase by not having to trek the traffic all the way around the country and back again to our users. We plan to have all of our fiber, FTTH and FTTB customers on our on-net networks fully migrated to the BNGs this year. We have 10 of them separated around the country. And our wireless networks will be followed shortly thereafter, early next year. We have a strong push for visibility and management into the network this year, with the goal of automating both service provisioning and intelligent metric-based network routing and alerting. SR again has made this simple for us, and we have an incredibly strong foundation built for automation, making the development of tools simpler. We're also working with NEC, Exxon and Juniper with the beginning trials of the Juniper Network Automation System Paradigm.
That's quite a list of next steps for you. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having a discussion with you. I look forward to a long and very productive partnership going forward. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. Thanks so much.